Good morning. I'm Jim Gilmartin, and it's my privilege on behalf of the ECCL Board of Directors and Executive Management Leadership Team to welcome you to the 207th meeting of the ECCL. And unfortunately, with the significance of COVID-19 raising its ugly head in Florida, we continue to conduct the ECCL membership meetings virtually following public health recommendations. And we really do miss this personal interactions and conversations during live sessions, but we are pleased to use Zoom and spread the word, keep you up to speed on various topics of interest and updates on our activities. We are accepting questions during the meeting. At the end of each speaker's comments, I'll ask for questions and we'll try to answer as many as possible. However, we will have to keep a mind of time and maybe limit some of the questions. Finally, we are recording this meeting, and you'll be notified when it's available on the ECCL website, which is esterotoday.com. Right now, as a gesture of respect, let's have a moment of silence for those who are hospitalized, who have died or contracted the COVID-19 virus. Thank you. Okay, well, we have a panel today, as you can all see out there. Usually, we were just talking about it, usually we just have one or two, but this time we thought we'd spread it out a bit and bring in some people that have different perspectives on different issues and events and things that are taking place in the Estero area. And we're fortunate to have folks like John McLain, Barry Freedman, Antonio Carangelo, Brian Hurwitz, Dr. Alise Bartley, and John Guerra. Also joining us are Mark Nowitzki, most of you know if you've been attending these, John Quinn, our Chief Financial Officer, and Alan Bowditch, our Chief Communications Officer. So let me begin with John McLain. John is Vice Mayor of the Village of Estero and represents District 3. John has been a resident of Estero for 7 years and resides in Bella Largo. He has an extensive business background and experience, having served in executive positions in several companies. John will discuss the Estero Veterans Day event on Saturday, November 13th at the Estero Community Park. So John, you're on.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to promote the Veterans Day event that is going to be held November 13th at the park, as you indicated. Happy Friday to everybody in attendance. So we got another beautiful and happy day here in paradise. So it's great to be here. You know, Veterans Day, I'm a little humbled by this. You've got, what, 287 meetings that you've had the ECCL? Well, the Veterans Day event that we're having coming up here in November is only going to be our 4th Veterans Day. We couldn't do one last year because of COVID, obviously, and we didn't start off in our organization to be able to handle that kind of an event right away. So as a veteran, I kind of volunteered to be the host of that and the MC of it. So I think it's been very good. This year we're trying to shake this up a little bit because Veterans Day is not just for veterans. I believe that Veterans Day should be a community-wide event that we have young folks, middle-aged folks, older folks there, hopefully to honor and have an opportunity to talk to our veterans and thank them for their service they have in there. I just feel very strong about trying to get as many people as we have. So I encourage not just veterans to show up for this, but all the ECCL members, their families, their friends, and the like, because the more robust in the attendance that we have, the better the event it's going to be. And quite an event we're going to have this year. We've got something to offer, I think, for everybody out there. Just kind of a quick highlight of those. We're going to have children's games. We're going to have some face paintings. We're also going to bring in a jump house and a slide. So the kids will be pretty active back there. So bring your grandchildren, bring your children of all ages, and we'll have fun there. In addition to that, we're going to have a Great American Car Show. Probably have 15 cars or so there, so you can take a look at it and kind of look at how these people take such beautiful care of their cars in there. We're also going to have a SWAT team vehicle there, the Estero fire truck and rescue. So that's, you know, it's really great. As far as our speakers and entertainment goes, we're going to have our Commissioner of District 3, Ray Sandelli. Those of you that don't know, Ray was in the Navy, and he also was in the Blue Angels. So he's going to talk a little bit about his service, hopefully about the excitement of being a Blue Angel and other comments that he may have in there. We're also going to have the New Horizons Children Choir perform 1 or 2 songs in addition to our standout singer based here in Estero, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey's been here before. She's very vibrant. She's going to sing a whole host of songs. So I think that's going to really be, really be great. In addition to that, we're going to have Nolan Rollins and Noah Lopez perform what they call the Ragged Old Flag. And it's kind of a history of where our American flag has been in battles. And I think it's going to be very entertaining in there. Also going to have the Estero ROTC participating. They're going to present our colors and hold those out for the national anthem and the like. We'll also have the Lee County Drum and Bugle Corps. They will do a very moving 21-gun salute after we have the Armed Forces medley, where we ask all the veterans that in the various branches to come forward and everybody can kind of see them. So it's a pretty touching part of the ceremony that we have in there. So that's pretty much what it's going to be. It's going to run from 11:30 to 1:30. We ask people if you'd like to sit to bring your own chairs, bring a blanket. We're also going to be passing out water because we've had some various weather during this time, but usually it's going to be warm. So the village is going to supply water. As you enter, you'll be able to get some water. But we're also going to have something different this year. We're going to have 3 food trucks, and it's going to be pay as you go, but you'll have a variety of food options as you circulate, looking at the cars, and if any of you want, doing the jump station and the like. So bring your chairs, bring your friends, and have a great time. So I'm more than happy to take any questions on this event, or hopefully be able to answer questions on anything else that you might have.
Thank you, John. Are there any questions from folks participating? Any at all? Okay, John, that's it. Thank you again. Really do. Always a pleasure to have
the opportunity.
Always a pleasure to have you here, John. Really great. Okay, next, our speaker is Barry Freedman. Barry is the retired founder and chairman of Freedman Financial Associates, Inc. He has served on the national board of the Institute of Certified Financial Planners and the board of governors of the Estero Country Club. Barry also served as the ECCL's chief membership officer for several years. Barry will now discuss the development of the Greater Estero Virtual Information Center that the ECCL and he and others are working on, and its impact on economic development in the Greater Estero area. Barry, you're on, and you have to unmute yourself, please, and then you want to share a screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen. I think I got it.
There you go. It's coming up.
Yeah, and let's do it this way. That it?
That's it. You're good.
All right.
You're on.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me. What you see in front of you is what I call the Gang of Seven. There are 7 names on this screen. Most of the names you recognize, but I wanted you to understand that for the past year and a half, the 7 of us have been working to develop what we are now calling a Greater Estero Virtual Information Center. Many of you have heard the fact that we've been looking into this virtual visitor center or information center now for quite a while. But the 7 of us have finally gotten together and come up with what we believe is a very viable business plan, which we will soon want to present to the village for their support. And when I talk about their support, we're talking financial support. So 2 of those members, as you can see, Jim Gilmartin and Alan Bowditch, are ECCL executives. Nolan Rollins and George Zaluki are both directors of the Chamber of Commerce and are the executive directors of the Estero Forever Foundation. Jim Shields, many of you know, has been a founding member of the village going back for probably 15 to 20 years. And Terry Flanagan is our newest member of this team. Terry has an extensive background in business writing and in business planning. So what we're hoping to do is provide an opportunity for anyone who wants to live here, visit here, or is a resident here to learn how to experience Estero. Because at the current rate, Estero really doesn't have much to offer other than a rack. And many of you have seen this rack of coupons and flyers sitting in some of the stores. But other than that, there's really not much you can do online that would bring it all together. Yes, you can go to some individual company websites, but bringing it all together is not easy to do without a virtual information center. So where do people go to look for information like this? Obviously, it's the internet. 90% of planning is done online. And I found most interesting that more money is spent in the state of Florida than any other except California by visitors who come in and out of here. There is no other place to find what Estero has to offer. So the virtual information center will provide easy and complete and accurate information, contribute to strengthen the economic position of the village, and improve communication with residents. This is kind of a sample of what a virtual information or visitor center might look like. And what you notice across the top are tabs titled Things to Do, Events, Restaurants, and so on. By clicking on the tab, you are then brought to anything and everything that is subscribed to on this website by every business and organization that wants to participate. So everything is in one place. You don't have to just look up a restaurant. You can go to restaurants here and know what every restaurant is in the area without just having to go to a particular restaurant. And I'll talk a little bit more about how that can be enhanced in a little bit. But why do we need this? Why do people say we need a virtual information center? The reality is there is an economic need to promote the greater Estero area, locally, regionally, and nationally, and internationally. There's a need for new business to enhance the employment opportunities, especially for our graduating students in our local schools and colleges. There's a growing economic development in our area and enhances the opportunity for young adults to utilize their skills and education locally. Thus, in turn, increases property values, enhances educational programs, and improves the tax revenue in the area. It's essential to create it because it's the foundation of the Estero brand. It'll be vital for visitors, future residents, and business managers. It'll be able to leverage the benefits of online marketing, allow Estero to achieve the highest level of economic development and some success. The key objectives is to foster the growth. And what I found rather interesting is for every dollar in advertising spent, it generates about $282 in gross revenue. An organization called Destination Analysts, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it looks right. They do the research for what are called destination management organizations that track the use of visitor and destination websites around the world to determine what kinds of people use these websites, how old they are, what sex they are, what kind of families they have, and so on. And we're using that research, and we have quite a bit of it that I won't go through here this morning, to show to both the village and businesses that we will be talking to in the area about the value of participating on this virtual information center. We want to grow the local spend because we know that a rising tide raises all boats. We'll have economic growth. There's always going to be some economic growth, and there'll always be resident engagement, and there'll always be first impressions independently. But if you put them all together, you create what is generally termed a virtual information center. And the target audience here is to reach both residents, visitors, businesses here, and businesses potentially coming here. What are the benefits? Obviously, the Estero area information is available with a click. It provides all kind of information you want about current businesses, first impressions. For future business owners, extends our reach to more visitors. It spreads the message online, increasing the media and our visibility, and it'll be monetized through memberships, partnerships, and sponsorships. We want to, the goal here is to create and manage the information center by March of 2022, establish the oversight organization through secure financial commitments that will sustain us for about 2 years through 2022 We want to create an operating fund by January of 2022 and ultimately recruit either a professional executive director or an agency management firm to lead the organization and work with the destination marketing organization that we will hire to develop the website. For the past year and a half, we have talked to well over a dozen organizations that feel they have the capability of developing the website for us. We're looking at firms, and we've honed it down to a couple that have so much experience that some of them have over 1,000 websites that they manage for cities, towns, and countries around the world that will help us to develop it and ultimately participate in the long-term management. But what it really does for the Estero area, as you can see here, it increases the local spending and furthers the economic growth. It will lead to investment by existing companies to grow their business. It'll lead to more hotels, enhancing revenues from the occupancy tax. It increases U.S. domestic and international visitors in their expenditures. It'll encourage new businesses to our location, and it enhances promotional options to advertise sporting tournaments, cultural events, farmers markets, art exhibits, etc. That's really what it's all about, is to enhance property values, increase investment in our schools, increase the village funds to implement improvements, and enhance residents' pride in living in this really pretty wonderful area. Generally speaking, and it'll be the case here, anyone who visits Virtual Information Center will visit it complimentary. To fund it, most cities around the country get advertising fees, and they get a piece of what's called the occupancy tax that visitors pay when they come to hotels in the various cities. Well, unfortunately, the village of Estero, being part of Lee County, all of the occupancy tax money goes to Lee County and is not necessarily distributed back to the various cities in Lee County. So we will look for support from local businesses in the form of membership dues. The public and private sector granting programs will offer some financial support. And of course, we'll be looking to businesses, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. We're looking for 6 to 8 charter members. These would be large organizations that we would want to help support this, and they would be recognized as a premier business, profession, or other organization throughout the website for a period of 3 years without any additional membership fees. We need about $200,000 to get this thing off the ground. New companies who maybe move into Estero afterwards could also become charter members to promote their business and become established in the greater Estero area. We'll also look for founders. They could be individuals or small businesses who might make an initial investment and again be assured of a place on the website in not just their listing, but some advertising that they could provide for a period of 2 years without any additional membership fees. And they could be reimbursed for their founding investment from the net revenues that we would receive after the first couple of years, when we feel within the 3rd year we should be profitable. And we would distribute the income based on the percentage of participation. Just to give you an example, and this is from experience we've had when talking to cities around the country of about our size. If we had 200 small businesses, big business, whatever you want to call them, average payment of $100 a month in participation on the website, that's $20,000 a month in revenue. That's over $200,000 a year, more than enough to sustain this organization and this website forever. And that does not include potential national advertising that we can get through our the destination management organization. Potential founders, obviously the village, the chamber, ECCL, the Estero Forever Foundation, large organizations like Rotary, private supporter groups, and of course, individuals. We're on the move. We expect to present the business plan to the village within the next 30 to 60 days. It looks very good. We've had excellent feedback from the village council members. We are supported by John McLain as our champion from the village, and we're looking to set this off and get it started by the spring of next year. That's all I have. I'll take any questions, but I also want you to take down this website. If any of you are interested in participating on potential committees, whether they be marketing or advertising or administrative committees when we start this program, please let me know. you can reach us at visitesterofl@gmail.com. And I'll take any questions after that. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Barry. Anybody have any questions of Barry? Any questions at all? I'd like to make a few comments while you're thinking about any questions. Barry has put a significant amount of time in putting this all together. We go back a year and a half when we sat in a room with a few folks and thought about this and said, hey, this is something we want to do. And we moved on it for quite some time. But I want to give Barry the kudos. He's put a lot of time, a lot of effort, spent time talking to many, many, many people, and he continues to do that right now. The ECCL actively and encourages the village to get involved in this and others to get involved in it. It's an economic development typhoon. This could really take off and have a tremendous impact in the village. So thanks very much, Barry. Appreciate that.
I just appreciate being a spokesperson at this point. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're so okay. In any case, let's go on then. The next speaker is Antonio Carangelo Jr., an information technology entrepreneur, innovator and consultant. He's currently the chairperson for the Public Safety, Connectivity, and Mobility Committee for Pedestrian and Bike Paths. And he will discuss how the ECCL Safety Council works with the village, county, and state to make it safe for pedestrians and bicyclists. Antonio, you're on.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning. My name is Antonio Carangelo, and I'm the chairperson of this newly formed committee, the ECCL Connectivity and Mobility Committee. And the ECCL Connectivity and Mobility Committee is a true subcommittee of the ECCL Public Safety Committee. So we sit under them, and our focus is on public safety. We will be focusing on assisting the village and the county on the development of new bicycle and pedestrian pathways. I'll explain the purpose of the committee, our mission, and why this is timely in the journey of the greater Estero area. At the end of my briefing this morning, I hope you join my team. The Connectivity and Mobility Committee's role is to advocate for improved connectivity and mobility within the greater Estero area by proposing, illustrating, and advocating change during the various projects and work efforts. And that will improve roads, rails to trails, bicycle lanes, multi-use pathways and sidewalks. It should make it easier for residents and visitors to walk, bicycle, e-bike and scooter around, as well as drive, and do all these things between. And this is not an exhaustive list, but I just wanted to talk about it. Go between parks and schools, communities, entertainment venues, athletic facilities, recreational, cultural, and retail centers. I think this is important for people to get out of their communities and be able to go from first mile to last mile. So why do we need this new committee to specifically focus on connectivity and mobility? The village has a strategic and coordinated vision for bicycle and pedestrian transportation. It has been documented in the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan that was published in 2019. The Village Master Plan consists of 73.5 miles of new and improved bikeways, walkways, trails, and other related biking and walking projects along 17 different corridors, as well as 9 intersections. And they're going to do this over the next 20 years. But the plan has already started with several new projects, such as designs for River Ranch Road and Williams Road, to name a few. The intersection where the high school is located is a perfect example of where students, teachers, parents of all ages and abilities, they use these roads and pathways. So in order to focus on this, that's why one of the things that we're going to be doing is focusing on this. When you consider the master plan in conjunction with the Village Parks Department master plan, the Lee County MPO Estero Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan, our committee will be collaborating with the Estero Village officials, Lee County Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee members, local police and fire service to enhance the safety of residents. Over time, our team will have a holistic viewpoint of designs for improving walking, biking, and strolling safety, as well as looking at areas where require adequate lighting. Bus stops could be an example of that, street visibility, marked bike paths, multi-use paths, and especially rails to trails as that gets started and being built out. And then possibly underpasses and bridges for both bikes and pedestrian throughways, especially looking at Route 41 and connecting the state's parks. We will have oversight not only in Village but a greater Estero. So we want to be able to look at and connect up other areas as Estero grows. So how will we accomplish this? The team will influence conceptual designs through documented recommendations for each capital improvement project. And those capital improvement projects are defined in the multi-year master plans. We hope to influence the planning and design phases of each project as they're being implemented. We feel the proper community oversight as these projects are implemented, especially the design for intersections and intersecting roads, will ensure bike and pedestrian safety. In addition, the committee will track developments in lightweight electric vehicles as they're entering the market, and particularly how other states and communities are addressing safety with those. So e-bikes, adaptive bicycles, scooters, etc. They're going to offer additional mobility and transportation between locations. Oversight in these areas may be needed to be factored in the master plans. Ultimately, our committee's vision is to ensure a well-connected, consistently designed, fluid roadways and paths for all village residents and visitors, thus constantly improving upon public safety throughout Greater Estero. The intended result in Greater Estero is a sense of community promoting safe transportation choices for people of all ages and all abilities. The result is no different from what is documented in the various master plans, but our committee will be another set of eyes to enhance the process. My team currently is made of 4 key personnel. They are leaders that have provided unique perspectives to building out the mission statement, and I'd like to introduce them. They are Lou Fratatelli, Jody Walburn, Mark Russett, and Terry Flanagan. Our team will partner with the village manager and public works director as capital improvement projects are initiated. As the number of capital improvement projects increase, we are looking for more people to add to the team. Please join us in this timely and important venture. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, this is the opportunity for you to answer or ask any questions of Antonio.
Jim,
If there are no-
in the write-up, can we put Antonio's email address so they can contact him?
Yeah, you jumped ahead of me. No, we did not. So Antonio, why don't you just share your email address with the folks? And if people don't get it, you can find either Mark's address or my address. Just go to the website, look up the organization. You'll see all our pretty pictures, and under that, you'll see our email addresses. Antonio, your email address.
Yeah, I have my private email address right now, and I'll make it public, is Carangelo, my last name, Carangelo @msn.com. But as we move forward, we'll be creating a general public email. You can post your questions to and any concerns, and we'll be able to address them.
That's great. Thank you very much, Antonio. Welcome to the ECCL. I will look forward to good things, great things. Okay, so there are no other questions, so I'm going to go move next to our next speaker, who is Brian Hurwitz. Brian is a resident of Grandeza in Estero, a retired professor of psychology and education. He's the founding director of the New Jersey City University Center for Teaching and Learning. He was also a former New York State certified EMT. So Brian will discuss how the ECCL Health Council's Cardiac Health Subcommittee is working on getting more automated external defibrillators, you may know as AEDs, in our community and saving lives. Brian?
Thank you. Are you able to see my PowerPoint presentation? Can you see the
Not yet.
PowerPoint? Okay. Thank you, Jim. On behalf of the Cardiac Health Subcommittee, I want to thank you for this opportunity to describe our AED readiness survey. But first, I want to recognize members of the committee. Jim Tutulis, Krista Casaza, Lawrence Jones, and Bob Beelan, Dr. Bob Beelan. These are very forward-looking, they're dedicated individuals, and they're a pleasure to work with. Our overarching goal, and this is a broad goal, is to hold the line on cardiac arrest deaths in the village of Estero. Now, and I realize that this is broad, but it's overarching, and all of our work for the past 2 years has been with this goal in mind. Now, the survey that we developed and recently piloted across 3 communities is designed to get more AEDs into our gated communities. It's designed to raise AED awareness and to urge that AED locations be mapped and that the locations be publicized. We want to ensure that in the event of a cardiac arrest outside of the hospital, in other words, in a public space, in one of our communities, that bystanders will know the location of the closest AED, they'll know how to use it, and they'll know how to initiate CPR. The AED, for those of you who are, everyone's seen them, they create a lot of anxiety if one has to use one, but it's a device that delivers an electric shock to normalize, to an arrhythmic heart, to normalize the heart's rhythm. According to the American Heart Association, there are 20,000 heart attacks that occur in public spaces. Less than half of cardiac arrest victims get the immediate help they need before EMS arrives. Survival from a cardiac arrest doubles when bystanders use the AED. It doubles, and that's because, according to the AHA, the American Heart Association, the longer it takes emergency personnel to arrive, the greater the benefit using an AED to shock the victim. It usually takes between 4 and 10 minutes for EMS to get on the scene. So bystander intervention is the key to the chain of survival. This is the key. The first 3 links are very, very important. It's call 911, begin CPR with an emphasis on chest compressions, yell for the AED. Now we need to know where our AEDs are located in our communities. Then that AED will provide for rapid defibrillation. When EMS gets on the scene, we have excellent, effective advanced life support here in Estero. We have excellent, effective advanced life support in our hospitals, and we have good integrated post-cardiac care. However, it's those first 3 links that our committee is focusing on, getting that AED to the victim as soon as possible, and that requires that we know where that AED is located. So creating our survey, and I'm going to disclose several key questions to you when at the end of this PowerPoint, but it involved a collaborative effort. All 5 members of the committee had to, they were involved in creating the questions. We started with a tabula rasa, a blank slate, so to speak. FGCU helped us in giving us a graduate intern. We also are using their software program to load our survey on. It's called Qualtrics. Our ECCL Chief Communication Officer reviewed the survey after it was in the survey form. He reviewed it, he edited it, he commented, and he serves as in an advisory capacity to us. The Health Council has been very helpful to us, especially our Health Council chair, who has been very supportive right from the beginning. And Health Council members voted to approve the survey in its current form. And we're grateful to the HOA managers at 3 Estero gated communities. And I'll show you those communities in a minute. Just want to recognize FGCU for a moment. They provided the Qualtrics survey software for us. And the graduate intern was absolutely terrific. We had her for 2 months. She did a lot of editing and provided us with support that we needed. The survey, once it was completed, it was loaded into the Qualtrics survey format. And then the links were sent to 3 communities that agreed to participate. One was Belterra, Rapallo, and the club at Grandeza. Thanks to Mary Jo McLaughlin, she brought Belterra on board right away. We wanted the HOA managers to open a survey, to respond to the questions, and then to give us in-person feedback. So our graduate intern went to Belterra, met with Mary Jo, and also met with the HOA manager there. And that manager was helpful in getting us to expand our survey and making it even more detailed than it had previously been. At Rapallo, one of our subcommittee members, Jim Tutulis, met with the HOA manager there. The manager responded to all of the survey questions. He thought that the survey was very important and was needed in the community, in all of the communities. He said that he had direct experience with 2 cardiac arrests in a public space at Rapallo, and in each instance, the AED was used. In one instance, the victim was saved. In another instance, the victim was not. The club at Grandeza, our graduate intern met with the HOA manager there, and she was very helpful to us. And she made a couple of interesting comments, and I'm going to show you I'm going to explain those to you in a minute. Here are the key questions. All of these, there are 14 questions. Each of the questions has several parts, and each of these is a link. You can click on, select the sites where your AEDs are located. Most of the communities have them located in the main clubhouse. The HOA manager at Grandeza said a number of these areas are locked after hours. You can't get to them. You can't get to the AED. And that indeed is the case. The health club, for example, is locked after hours. So if there's a function in the main clubhouse after 9 o'clock, a dinner or a reception of some kind, you can't get to the AED because the area is closed. The golf pro shop is locked, the cart barn, the tennis court area. There should be AEDs in our walking and biking paths. They have outdoor AEDs that are available. Now here is the raw data in question 2. Remember, 3 community HOA managers had the opportunity to respond. All 3 said that the AEDs are in the main clubhouse. 3 said that the administrative offices. You can read right down here. 3 are in the health club, naturally in the dining areas, golf pro shop, swimming pools. You can see how they responded. But some of these areas are locked. For example, at the walking biking paths, there are no AEDs because we don't have outdoor AEDs in our communities. They are available. They're a bit expensive, and they're able to stand up to the elements. There's an open-ended question. Here's question 13, list other sites. And there's an opportunity for the respondent to write in other sites where their AEDs may be located. This is the question 5 is another key question. Currently, what information is available alerting community members of AED locations? We should in our communities know where every AED is located, but I am sure that most of us don't. There are newsletters available, emails, flyers that can be distributed. We need good signage, signs that show us where our AEDs are, and they should be made public on the community website. One community actually had the location of the AEDs in their golf cart. This is the last question, and then I'm going to bring this to an end. I know my time is running out. But question 5, currently what information is available? Here it is in raw data, alerting community members of AED locations. 2 respondents, 2 of the HOA managers said that the newsletter, whether there's a newspaper or newsletter, I'm not sure, but in some of our communities have newsletters, others have newspapers. You can see the responses here. One HOA manager said that flyers were used. I don't know if it's We know at one time flyers were used in that community. Signage to respondents. Well, all AEDs have signs on them when they're on the wall, but is there really a sign showing, mapping where the AED is so that we can all see where they're located in our communities? One of our HOA managers said that in the golf carts, there was a map. The last key question is an open-ended question. Is there any other guidance you would like to provide in enhancing the availability of AED CPR preparedness in your community? And that's open-ended, and the respondent has an opportunity to type in where any other ideas or comments they may have. This was the link that was sent to each of the AED HOA managers. It's a live link that goes directly to the survey. And finally, we will gather quantitative and qualitative data. We'll be able to develop a profile concerning gated community readiness to address a heart attack in a public space. Once we are able to submit this survey to all of our communities in Estero, and I'm thinking of gated communities now, and we'll be able to analyze that data and put together a report. If we get this project right and we gather good data, we'll have a template with which to go to the county commissioners and even suggest wider distribution through leak. Thank you.
Brian, thank you very much. Unfortunately, Brian, your PowerPoint wasn't shared. It didn't come up on the screen, so folks did not see that. However, you did a great job of walking through it point by point. I think everybody got your message, and they can, if they have any more information they'd like to get from you, perhaps you could share your email address so that people can reach out directly. We have had a couple of questions regarding the fact that they could not see the shared screen that should have been up there, but it wasn't. So why don't you share your email address with these folks and they can connect with you directly.
Sure. It's Brian Hurwitz, 1234 at yahoo.com.
Brian Hurwitz, 1234 at yahoo.com. Okay, Barry, you had a question? Barry, unmute yourself, Barry.
Okay,
There you go.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Brian, you mentioned that you're going to get the survey out to the gated communities, and that's all well and good. But in the course of the surveying we've been doing for this information center, we also found there are a substantial number of mobile home and RV park communities in the greater Estero area. And I would urge you to extend your survey to those communities as well.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We would need to get a contact person at each of those communities, and I assume that that's possible to do. It's a great idea. Thank you.
Let's, we're going to have to move on. So again, thanks, Brian. We appreciate that. And you know, you folks out there, you've got his email address. This is an important project. We're very proud in the ECCL to be supporting this. And Brian's correct. Mary Jo McLaughlin is really great in doing what she's doing as chairing that council. Okay, so let's move ahead. And I'd like to introduce now Dr. Alise Bartley, who is a marriage counselor and family therapist and mental health counselor for over 25 years. Presently, she's a clinical assistant professor at Florida Gulf Coast University and clinic director of the Community Counseling Center. Dr. Bartley will discuss the mental health services available at FGCU Community Counseling Center. Doctor, you're on.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see some of you and to hear more about the exciting things that are going on in our community. I'm going to share my screen, and just to be certain that it is shared, if you could let me know if you see it. Do you see it?
There it is. It's
wonderful.
Up there. Good.
So I wanted to first off share with you a video about the Student and Community Counseling Center.
Counseling is an opportunity for people who are having issues with depression, anxiety, relationships, just any type of mental health issues to come and speak to someone where there's in a confidential setting, and their role is to only help them work through those issues.
Counseling is for anyone who's struggling with a particular issue or problem and is looking to improve the quality of their life. Whether you're a couple who's struggling with communication, whether you're a family who's having issues with just life stages, or whether you're an individual who is having some depression or some anxiety.
Our youngest client is 4 and our oldest is 90, but we're happy to work with anyone of any age. We also provide sessions not only in English, but also in Spanish.
The student interns that we have here at the Community Counseling Center are all master's level trained. They provide counseling services to individuals, families, and couples.
The Community Counseling Center quickly made the shift from face-to-face to telecounseling. Our students are at the Community Counseling Center, but they're seeing all of their clients virtually. You can be in the safety of your own home while your student counselor is working with you. During your first session via telecounseling, what we'll do is we'll review the paperwork that you filled out online, and we'll go ahead and get started immediately finding out more about what's going on with you, what are some of your concerns.
We do what we call a diagnostic assessment. It's just something to help us gather all of your history so that we can better come up with a treatment plan to help you.
Sessions run 45 to 50 minutes. We do have day and evening appointments along with appointments on Saturday.
Here at the Community Counseling Center, we want everyone in the community to have access to mental health services.
Each session will cost either $25 an hour or whatever people make hourly at their job, whichever one is less.
So if you make $10.45 an hour, you're going to be charged $10 an hour.
Individuals, couples, and families who have a desire to improve the quality of their lives will absolutely benefit from counseling.
Research has shown that counseling does help. This is an opportunity for you to have someone to speak specifically on what your issues are and help you develop new coping skills, new ways of responding to stressors in our environment. Thank you so much for your interest in the Community Counseling Center. We're here to help, and we look forward to seeing you.
Okay, and I'm so proud every time I watch that video because almost all those students have now graduated and they're in our community providing counseling services to the residents of Southwest Florida. So it's very exciting for me to watch that video every time. I just wanted to hit a couple of highlights that are really important. The first is our sliding scale is $25 an hour or whatever you make an hour, whichever is less. Our minimum fee is $5 an hour. We do have quite a few clients that are only paying $5 an hour. Our average fee is only around $14 an hour. We're not just working with people from Southwest Florida, we're actually working with people throughout the state of Florida because we are still providing services via telehealth, but as of August, we also started providing services face-to-face. So it's whatever is most comfortable for you. We also have free parking available. If you've been to the university, parking's been a little tough. It is at most universities. So we have plenty of parking that's right outside the door. We just want people to know that we're here to provide good quality services in both English and in Spanish. So if you know people that Spanish is their first language, we are happy to do the sessions in Spanish. So we're here for you and we're happy to help in any way that we can. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Right, that's what I was just going to ask. Are there any questions out there in the group? No, it doesn't appear so. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Let me add one other piece of information.
Sure.
If you find that you want to look us up in the future, just Google FGCU Community Counseling Center and all of our information will be available online along with our phone number.
That's good. Thank you very much for that information. That's great.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker, last but not least, is Mr. John Guerra. If I didn't get it right, just correct me. John Guerra is a graduate of Columbia University, a former Wall Street merchant banker, and now the director of the FGCU Academy. He's a resident of Manhattan for most of his life, and he moved to Naples full-time in 2002. So, John, you've got it. Talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me. Very much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. So share a PowerPoint. So just let me know if that works.
It's up. Good.
Terrific. So I am the director of the FGCU Academy, which is Florida Gulf Coast University's lifelong learning and community outreach program. We were founded back in 2001 for adults, seniors, and retirees. And our premise has always been a simple one, that keeping the mind intellectually, culturally, creatively active fundamentally enriches our lives. And so to that end, we assemble programs year-round, 12 months a year, by offering single lectures, short courses, day trips, computer and technology classes, film series, discussion and debate groups, life enrichment, and travel programs. There are no exams, there are no grades, there are no homework to be part of FGCU Academy. It's really just learning for the joy of learning with friends, neighbors, and peers. We do offer a membership program. We do encourage people to become members of the Academy. However, membership is not required. We are open to everyone. We have students who are as young as 14 or 15 and as old as 105. So all are welcome at the FGCU Academy. As I mentioned, we assemble 3 different programs a year. The first is our winter-spring program, which runs January through May. Then we put together a summer program, which is June through September. And then finally a fall program, which runs October through December. Our programs are usually only about 90 or 120 minutes each. They're single lectures, most of them. We do offer short courses for those topics that require greater depth, greater expansion, and those can be anywhere from 2 to 8 sessions. We have historically offered in-person programs only. When the Academy was founded up until just about 18 months ago, we always offered in-person programs and lectures. But the pandemic forced us to reinvent ourselves. And literally in the span of less than 60 days, the FGCU Academy went from entirely in person to entirely online. So we were able to continue to fulfill our community outreach, lifelong learning and enrichment program by using Click Meeting and Zoom and platforms like this. So we could deliver these quality programs to people in the Southwest Florida community from the safety and comfort of their homes. I'm happy to say with the pandemic abating that we have returned to in-person lectures. However, we've learned an important lesson that online works as well for some people. And so we are going to continue both forms of delivery. You can come in person to the Academy if you wish, or you can attend virtually. Our lectures are typically $30 each. They're $25 for members. One of the benefits of becoming a member is a 20% savings on just about all programs. We have locations throughout Lee, Collier, and Charlotte counties. And we had fairly humble beginnings. The Academy was the brainchild of Dr. William Merwin and Dr. Jack Crocker, 2 members of the leadership team of FGCU more than 20 years ago. And as leadership of a brand new university in Southwest Florida, they needed to come up with a way to really embrace the community, to wrap their arms around the community they would be serving. And so they thought there was no better way than to reach out to Southwest Florida by offering a lifelong learning and enrichment program to the adults, seniors, and retirees that came to this beautiful patch of paradise to retire. And so that was how we began 20 years ago. We had a single classroom down in South Naples. We probably put together, I don't know, 12 to 15 programs a year. We had a couple of hundred participants, but roll the calendar forward 20 years. We now assemble more than 1,000 individual, single lectures, short courses, day trips, and special events. We offer programs at more than a dozen locations in Collier, Lee, and Charlotte counties, and we will have more than 12,000 participants walk through our door each and every year. Anyone interested in the Academy can, of course, register online. Right here at the bottom is our website, and I'll give you a chance to look at that again just a little bit later. In terms of locations, if you wonder where we operate from, here's just a brief list of some of the places we operate at. As I mentioned, we start down in Marco Island at the Hideaway Beach Club. We operate down in South Naples at our Naples Center, Northern Collier, Southern Collier. In Lee County, we operate at the Collaboratory in downtown Fort Myers, Cypress Cove in Fort Myers. We, of course, operate at our main campus, the Sugden Welcome Center, and we have a large program that we operate at the Commons Club at the Brooks and Bonita Springs. We're up in Punta Gorda as well in Charlotte County at the locations featured there, and we're at many of the continuing care facilities and senior communities that we have in town, such as Moorings Park or Bentley Village or the Arlington or Sienna Lakes. We also partner with country clubs like Pelican Bay and Bonita Bay and Bay Colony. So everyone is welcome at these various locations. They're open to everyone. These are just some of the locations that the Academy operates at. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a membership program. An annual membership for the Academy is $85 a person. Some of the benefits you achieve as a member include 20% cost savings on all the classes you attend. We have exclusive member-only events. We give our members free access to some programs, but perhaps most important, as a non-credit program at a state public university, at Florida Gulf Coast University, the state of Florida gives us $0 of support for programs like this. Really what membership helps us do is sustain this program in the community and expand its reach. But as the final bullet reminds us, I want to remember, membership is not required to participate in the Academy. We are open to everyone. Here's a brief glimpse of our program guide. Look for it in libraries, in chambers of commerce, and communities around town. Pick up a copy, they're free. You can always call us and we'll be happy to either email you or mail you a copy. You'll also notice our logo here, the FGCU Academy. For those of you who've been in Southwest Florida for some time, you may remember us under a different name. We began 20 years ago as the Renaissance Academy. But in 2020, in the pandemic, when we were forced to sort of reevaluate everything about the program, we decided to rebrand it and align it more closely with Florida Gulf Coast University. So now we are the FGCU Academy. But I encourage everyone to pick up one of those program guides. And what you will discover are programs and lectures and offerings in just about every topic imaginable. Here are just some of them I've listed here on the screen. And one of the things I love to do when I hold up my program guide or hand it to someone is I challenge them. I say, please flip through the pages of this program guide. And I challenge you not to find just one lecture, one program, one trip, one special event that is of interest to you. We offer one of the most rich and diverse and robust lifelong learning programs in the country. As I said, more than 1,000 individual lectures and programs offered each and every year on just about every topic imaginable. We also believe that learning can take place outside the classroom. And so to that end, we assemble day trips and special events year-round. We bring in to Southwest Florida experts, curators, directors of museums from around the world to lecture on contemporary art. We have a contemporary art lecture series that runs every season. We visit places like the Vizcaya Mansion, the Dali Museum, the Fairchild Botanical Gardens. We tour Miami's South Beach, Little Havana, and Wynwood districts. We go to places like the Maurice Selby Gardens and do lunch at St. Armand's Circle. We have photography and birding trips, foreign film discussion series. We visit the beautiful community to our east called Immokalee and the private island known as Uzeppa up in Pine Island area there. So we have many, many different special events and day trips. Here's just a sampling of some of those 1,000 lectures that I mentioned. Again, we do lectures on just about everything imaginable, from First Amendment freedoms to the Civil War, to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, to writing groups and creative journaling. We do World War II lectures, fitness lectures, self-hypnosis, birding lectures, technology classes. If you want to learn how to use your iPad and iPhone or Android device, come see us. Lectures about the Hermitage, and it goes on and on and on. So again, I encourage everyone, please pick up a copy of our program guide and discover something that's of interest to you. We have, for nearly 15 years now, also been sponsoring high-end concierge travel excursions around the world. We have taken nearly 1,500 residents of Southwest Florida to more than 30 countries around the globe. And in 2022, fingers crossed with the pandemic in retreat, we hope to visit Japan this May. We'll visit the Canadian Rockies in the summer. We'll visit the magnificent region of northern Italy and the Italian Riviera at the end of August and beginning of September. We'll visit the provincial French countryside also at the end of summer. We'll visit Machu Picchu in the Galapagos, and we'll go on a classic safari to Kenya and Tanzania. So for those of you who are itching to get out and travel the world again, the good news is the FGCU Academy has relaunched its travel program, and we will be going to these phenomenal 6 destinations. One of the things that's unique about our travel programs is worth mentioning is when you travel with Talc or A&K or some of the other tour companies, you have a wonderful vacation, you meet 20 or 30 new people, you have a great time, but when it's over, you tend never to see those people again. What makes our excursion so remarkable is you are traveling with friends, neighbors, people from Southwest Florida. So after these remarkable trips are over, we have reunions and potluck dinners. We visit new Cuban restaurants with my Cuba group when one opens, or, we visit a Peruvian restaurant when one of those opens. So there's a real wonderful social and continuing dynamic to our travel programs. And I will tell you, I've had people travel with just about every tour company around, and our tours rival some of the best. So I encourage you to think about traveling with the FGCU Academy. Finally, I want to remind everyone that we are always interested in partnering with you and your community, whether you're a gated community, an open community, a synagogue, a church, whatever you might belong to. We want to bring lifelong learning and enrichment programs to your clubhouse, to your community. It's a convenient, high demand offering for your residents and members, and we allow you to help us shape the curriculum. What topics are of interest to you? We can help shape a curriculum that's unique and geared toward what interests your residents specifically. There's no cost to hosting our programs at your communities. All we ask is you provide appropriate private space for seating up to 25 to 50, and have AV equipment available, since most of our presentations involve laptops and projectors and PowerPoint presentations. We give your residents, your members, a discount. Rather than having to pay the $85 membership fee, we waive that as a gesture for inviting us into your community, and your residents get to take our programs at the member rates. We do ask you open these programs to the public, since we are a public university. And lastly, registrations for these programs can be handled by you, the host, or by the Academy, whatever is convenient and best for you. For those of you who want more information about the Academy, our website is right here, fgcu.edu/academy. You can actually go online 24/7, look at our programs, read descriptions, get bios on our instructors at fgcuacademy.asapconnected.com. We accept credit cards online 24/7. You can call us at our main offices at this telephone number, and we're happy to answer all questions, take registrations over the phone. You can email me as the director. If you're interested in the Academy in any way, please reach out to me at my email here. And one other thing I want to drive home is one of the other premises of the Academy is we believe not only does everyone have something to learn, but everyone has something to teach as well. So I encourage you, we seek out people with talent and passion and ability that are tethered with a lifelong, sort of knowledge or expertise of a subject matter. If that's you, think about joining the Academy as a lecturer and share your knowledge, experience, and wisdom with the community. So whether you want to take a class, or whether you want to offer FGCU Academy programs at your community, or you want to lecture for us, please reach out to me at any of these various means, and I'll be happy to talk to you. With that, I think that brings my presentation to a close. So I'm happy to take any questions or comments or suggestions people might have.
Thank you very much, John. I don't see any questions, but you've given a lot of information, and I have to attest to it myself. When it was Renaissance, I was on the Commons Club board of directors, and really thought it was a great program. And now that it's the FGCU Academy, it's probably better. In any case, thank you very much for joining us and sharing that information with us. It's appreciated. Okay, so let me go on and just hit up a couple of highlights for the what we're doing in the ECCL, and then I'll ask some of the executive management teams to make a comment. You know, I mentioned this in past programs that we developed a working relationship with the Calusa Waterkeeper, and our joint efforts and focus is to educate our communities and organizations to take action to improve the quality and quantity of our precious Estero area water. We are planning to have a special ECCL member meeting for resident community members, hopefully in January, maybe later, but we're shooting for January of 2022, to provide practical advice and tactics for actions that will reduce pollution in our water. So just stay tuned. Also, the ECCL and Calusa Waterkeeper also needs your help. It's important. We need you to help promote the right to clean water and the Florida Wetlands Protection Amendment petitions to the state constitution before time runs out. Nearly 900,000 signatures are needed to be collected by November 30th. It's not that far off, to qualify the amendments for the ballot so that people can vote on this. We have sent you out the details. An email went out not too long ago. You can go online, just Google it. Just Google the right to clean water. That's all you have to do, and you'll find where you could have access to go in, get some petitions, fill them out, and send them in to the state to let them know that you have an interest in this. It's really important to do this before this time runs out. Please act to encourage your neighbors, your family, and your friends to act. Finally, in the same vein of environment, Southwest Florida's year-round sunshine and beautiful temperatures make it challenging to see the impact of climate change that are underway until something really dramatic happens. And we see that on the news when it does. Stronger hurricanes, persistent harmful algae bloom, more frequent flooding, and record-breaking daily temperatures are noticeable effects on climate change. Ignoring our changing climate will threaten the quality of the life we cherish here in Estero. But focusing on solutions to the Estero area's carbon emissions and ways to adapt to changing conditions, by doing that, I'm saying, we can create opportunities and resilient communities. Finally, the ECCL's partner, Growing Climate Solutions, A Path to Positive Southwest Florida, is working with us to have conversations to promote actions to reduce our carbon footprint in the village of Estero. Our goal is to encourage and empower residents, businesses, and other civic institutions to support and engage in climate solutions that advance a healthy, prosperous, and resilient community. Folks, this is important. We have one of our major councils is environment. We're going to keep pushing this. We need your help. It's important for you to get involved in these types of activities. So if you have any questions or interest in it, contact any one of the executive management team you see on the screen right now, and we'll be happy to talk with you about it. Any questions on those comments? Okay. So let me now introduce Mark Nowitzki. Mark is our Chief Operating Officer. Those of you who've been attending these know Mark very well. Mark's got a couple of comments. You're on, Mark. You're muted. There you go. Good.
Yes, one of the things we want to talk about is the village of Estero and 6 or 7 other members have come up with a way to recognize those that are giving their time, mostly volunteers, to recognize Estero's top 25 most influential people. And we had the nominations a month or 2 ago, and then we had the final vote, and they've selected, not they, the numbers resulted in the top 25. And there's an awards banquet coming up at the end of October here in about 2 weeks. And we'd like you to attend and recognize your fellow citizens, your neighbors, your friends, people that have made a difference. And this is probably going to be one of a few to start. Maybe, next one will be helping families, helping kids. We got lots of opportunities to recognize, those that volunteer. That's all I got, Jim. Thanks.
Yeah, and also just to give you an idea, this is going to be held at the Club of Grandeza. I believe it's the 28th of October, correct?
Yes.
Mark, yep, I think it is.
Yes.
And again, I would encourage those of you who are listening and see this at another time to take advantage of supporting the folks who help support you. Now, these are people that spend significant amount of time in trying to make Estero, to maintain it or improve the quality of life here, and to make it the best place to live, work, play, and invest. It's worthwhile doing something like that. So please recognize those folks, and you can purchase a ticket and attend. Okay, so I'd like to introduce then Alan Bowditch, our Chief Communications Officer. Alan, a few words.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you again for listening today. Just have a quick comment to a follow-up on the book, The Forging a Better Path, that is now available for purchase. We do have one complimentary copy that we are going to provide to each of the member communities, and that will be available if we have the monthly meeting in August, which we are hoping to have as a live get-together. So those who are the managers and heads of our gated communities that are members of the ECCL will be able to pick up their complimentary copy there. Those people who would like to purchase a copy can do so by going to the Estero Today website and going to Hot Topics, and you will find the book highlighted in that section. The book, of course, covers a great history of what has happened over the last 20 years in Estero to make it the lovely place that it is today. But it also takes a look further forward as to how we think the community will develop over the coming years. And I would just like to read 3 comments that have been received about the book so far, which is not either me or the ECCL commenting on it, but it's about those people who have been already where the book has been read and commented on. So first of all, Laura Cummings, the editor of Estero Life magazine, said, "What a great idea to record this local history." Brian Bartley, the general manager and chief operating officer of the Shadowwood Country Club, said, "The book is an incredible idea, and I'm amazed at the amount of time and effort that went into interviewing people, research, and development. Congratulations on being part of something that will make a difference for many years to come." And finally, Nancy Cohen, an architect here in the Estero area, said, "Thank you for such a valiant effort to put the details of this complicated history of Estero in book form. The blend of dedicated unpaid professionals on our committees, on architects, landscape architects, and develops meeting monthly throughout the year for many years clearly has laid the groundwork of the Estero that we see and experience today." So these are independent reviews of the book, and certainly those of you, if you would like to take a look at it, it is available, as I've mentioned, by going on our website, and you can buy it online. So that's really what I wanted to say today. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate all the work you did on that book, and it is really a good piece of work. Next, I'd like to have our Chief Financial Officer, John Quinn, make a few words. John?
Very few words. I have been traveling the last 3 months. I've just recently updated all the financial statements through September. We have an affiliation with the Southwest Florida Community Foundation. And if you want to make a tax deduction, you can go to our website. It will link you to that. And until we actually receive our status as a 501(c), we appreciate anyone who can give support and be able to take a tax deduction that way. Thank you.
Thanks very much, John. And John's correct. The Southwest Florida Community Foundation is managing our foundation. It's a 501c3 under their auspices. However, as John mentioned, we are in the process of changing our IRS designation from a 501c4, which has a lot of the ability to be involved politically, to a 501c3, which really is where we are right now, nonpartisan, non-political. We are an educational information organization, getting the word out to people to improve their lives. So that's a good move, and we're looking forward to that. Are there any general questions or comments before we adjourn? Anybody out there have anything of any thought or issue at all? Seeing none, I think we'll move towards adjournment. Thanks for joining us today. A special thanks to John McLain, Barry Freedman, Antonio Carangelo, Brian Hurwitz, Dr. Alise Bartley, John Guerra, and those who engaged with us during the meeting. If CDC or CDD guidance encourages live indoor meetings, our next meeting will be live. And we look forward to seeing you then. Stay tuned. Finally, a sincere thanks to you, those of you who have supported the ECCL over the many years. And we appreciate everything that you do to support us as we move forward to the future. The next meeting will be November 11th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Again, we hope it will be live. On that note, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jim.